So the first thing you do is chop up your whitefish, which is I'm using haddock, and I also have a package of baby scallops in there as well. So I just chunk up the fish. If I cut it up too small, it's going to start flaking apart when it's cooking. And I've also chopped up an onion here, and I'm going to add that to the fish, mix it together, and then I'm going to add water to just cover the fish, and I'm going to let that cook until it is opaque. Alright, so that is it cooked. It's all cooked up now. We are not going to drain it because that's your fish stock. So I'm just I just have it on simmer right now, and I'm cooking up my carrots and celery that I chopped up that will then go into that pot. So that is the carrots and the celery. Normally I'd have more celery than this to be pretty much balanced, but that's okay. I used what I had. I do drain them, and then I'm just going to add them to the pot. That's all there is to it. And now I just put it on some potatoes that I'm going to boil up and mash. I need a lot more potatoes than that because I need about half this size pot full of potatoes, but I only have this size of a pot and I'm using it. So I have that pot going, and now I'm going to peel up more potatoes and stick it in this pot and get them up boiling. So I cook my potatoes and I mash them, and now I'm just adding them to the pot. I still have another little pot there that needs to finish cooking, and then I'm going to mash them as well and add them in. And then we move on to the next step. So all of the mashed potatoes are now in there, all stirred up, and it's time to add the cream from my favorite dairy. I love Scotsburn. I mean, I grew up on it. Well, I grew up with Cape Breton Dairy, and then it became Cape Breton Dairy were bought out by Scotsburn. So now I buy Scotsburn mostly because I love it. So now we're going to put in the blend cream. So I'm just going to put that one in first, and then I'm going to stir it up. So that's going to start heating up. Love fish chowder. Love, love, love fish chowder. Alright, so I'm going to open pour about maybe another half of the other container in. And so I'm going to bring this up, not to a boil, I'm just going to heat it up. You don't want to boil it because then you're going to end up curdling it. And we don't want that. No curdling. So let this heat up. So while this is heating up, I'm adding a can of baby clams. Now I drained them. I'm sure you can, if you wanted to, you could put the juice and all in. But I drained them because that's how my Grammy did it. So that's going in there, that big can of clams. And that's going to heat up too. So we got clams and scallop and haddock in there. And I'm also going to add some lobster. Now, the lobster was frozen. I hope it thawed out in the fridge today. Otherwise, it's going to be a little interesting trying to get it all out. Alright, so if you can buy this on sale, because it's really expensive, I would use this to save you the trouble of having to declaw it, because I have 2 lobster in here that I have to now declaw. But you can find this in the frozen section, seafood section, and I bought one of these when they were on sale. This is going to be saved for Christmas for later, so I'll be making chowder again. So I'm saving it for then. But right now I get to go through the misery of trying to declaw 2 lobsters. So they're still frozen, even though they've been in the fridge all day. They have not defrosted. So right now lobster, I guess, is not going in the chowder. I'll throw it in tomorrow. So what's in the chowder is going to stay in the chowder, and this will come in tomorrow. Right, so I can't add the lobster till tomorrow, so I'm going to add the butter. I'm going to put a great big dollop of butter in there. It's heating up, it's going to melt, and it's going to taste delicious. So that's going in there right now. So I added the butter, and I'm just going to stir it in. So it's coming up and heating up quite nicely now. So the last thing we got to do is put some salt and pepper in, and then it's ready to serve. And once this goes into the fridge, it thickens up even a lot more. So you, when you're reheating any chowder, you might want to add maybe a little bit of milk or something, just so it's not so thick. But yeah. There we have it. Chowder is done. So I'm just gonna have myself a bowl right now.